couple of
And we are live! Welcome to the Crafty Boys, everybody. I'm so glad that... Oh, I'm off center.
You are.
Welcome to the Crafty Boys. This is the podcast where we talk about beer because we like beer.
Yes.
How else do you explain that? I'm Shane. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia.
And I'm Alan. I'm in Victoria, British Columbia. That's the same province as Shane, but separated by a body of water. We need a ferry or an airplane to get across. So we couldn't
a beaver, to be exact.
Or a beaver. Yes, we could hop on the back of a beaver and go through Active Pass.
Or a twin otter.
That I would actually like to see.
Airplanes. You mean the airplanes? Yes, you could go and hijack a couple of otters, and that are twins, and Dave, you go.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, it's a weight thing. One otter can't do it, so you need two.
Right.
I'm Dave, as was previously mentioned by Al.
Longest introduction ever. So anyway, this week we are drinking beer that Dave chose. Dave, tell us all about the beer we have this week.
All about it. Okay. It's Steel and Oak's Red Pilsner. It's a very, very simple label, but I gotta say, damn, the name is cool. Steel and Oak. Like, how is that not an awesome name for a brewery?
I gotta say, I like the simplicity of the labels.
It's pretty cool.
I do as well. It makes it really stand out on the shelf too. Like if you're going into a place that has a lot of beer, and you're looking at a myriad of bottles on a wall, this just jumps right out at you.
It totally does. I mean, it's so simple. It's brilliant. This plan is going to work. We are gonna pop off the shelves. And I just shook the bottle. Oh, that's gonna not end well. So, Dave, why'd you pick this one? Was it just because it popped off the shelf, or was it because you had this before, or is it because it's just awesome?
Okay, so you remember last week?
No.
You drank too much of the beer at once, obviously.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so the beer that we had last week, I think, I went into my first shop and couldn't find what we were supposed to actually drink. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to try and grab something. So this is what I grabbed. Even though I was able to grab the actual beer, I popped into another store later on. I was really lucky that they actually had the one that I would think was your pick, Shane.
Yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I thought, well, it's kind of a Christmassy thingy because we're rolling into that season. So I thought, well, Red Pilsner, and it says, I don't know if you guys have noticed, Caramel Spice Crisp. I'm guessing that's the flavors that they say this is supposed to sort of have.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, hey, you know what? That's kind of a Christmas thing.
It's November, man. It's November.
So let me ask you. Okay, so you bought this as sort of like a backup thing for an episode a couple of weeks ago where you couldn't find the beer.
Well, I did actually find it, but anyways.
Yeah. So aside from the caramel spice crisp, what about this particular one made you say, yeah, this is the one? Because there's a lot of like Christmassy kind of stuff out right now. So what was it about this that just spoke to you?
You know what? I can't even say. It was like a gut level thing.
Yeah? All right, that's cool.
It really was. I just had to, like, okay, what looks decent and what's going to kind of be in our theme. So this is what I grabbed. But here's another little thing for me is Steel and Oak is based in New West or New Westminster.
Right.
And that's where I lived, as Shane knows, and you might know, That's where I lived when I was in Lower Mainland for that period of time. So
Right.
I kind of think that's cool too, because New West is cool. I liked it out there.
That's cool. So
So
what else
let's
can you
start
tell us
with-
about the beer? Like, it's got.
Oh,
I noticed it's got 35 international beer units.
I was just
This is gonna be like a running gag now. We're gonna do this every
it
week.
is.
We have our 35 international beer units for this beer.
Oh,
That is
man.
actually quite funny because that is. Ever since you said that, I just wanted. That's what it is forever now.
Yeah.
Any beer that I see, international beer units. Anyone who asks, international beer units. What does that mean? It doesn't matter. It's got an IBU, international beer unit of 35.
But here's a question for you: Has
Mic
anybody
drop.
ever asked you?
No, no one has ever asked.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they won't.
No,
They
that's not
could.
true.
They might.
Somebody emailed you what was the IBUs of a particular beer we drank. So then you said that we should start talking about IBUs.
Oh.
And said, what is an IBU? And Dave said international beer units.
Oh, right. Yeah, now I remember. Well, it worked out. So sock it to me, baby. Oh,
One thing about this beer, and I don't know that I've seen this on any others, but it has a bottled on date.
Yeah,
Oh.
mine was bottled on International Beer Unit Day. No, November 10th. When was yours bottled?
Oh, jeez. You got a nice fresh one. What's yours, Alan?
October the 9th.
Okay. Wow, you guys are doing okay. Mine is frickin' 3rd of July.
Oh, wow.
So yours might actually be better because if it ages well,
If it ages.
usually they do. I mean,
I, for one, welcome Alan, our new robot overlord.
Yes.
Sorry, you're sideloading really bad all of a
am
sudden.
I? Oh, God.
That was hilarious.
Am I still?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
So everything you say needs to sound very commanding and international beer unity.
What?
Anyway, yeah, I gotta say that this particular beer, I just opened it, and I'm gonna smell. Dave, have you opened yours?
I have.
I'm trying to look for the caramel, but as you and I, as all of us knows, the smell factor does not really work with the top of a bottle because it's way too small to get the olfactory in there. So, all right,
What you
I'm
think
doing my
it's time
pour. Are
for
you
the
doing your
pour?
pour? Here goes my pour. Now, this is a red Pilsner, so this should,
I can't say I've
in
ever
theory,
heard of a red Pilsner before.
I've seen a few around. It seems to be a very recent. Well, to me, it's recent because I've seen a few hanging around. I went on a beer crawl on the weekend. I went to 33 Acres, Brass Neck, and Red Truck. And I don't mean to be, but it's across the street, so I've been there quite a bit. Red Truck and Main Street Brewery. So it was kind of interesting, and I saw 2 red Pilsners that were being done. So I don't know if it's a seasonal thing, which I'm beginning to think it might be. But is yours looking red? Mine's looking pretty red, reddish anyway.
Yeah, mine's definitely looking reddish. Very
Let's see.
copper.
Yeah, kind of an amber.
It's not bad.
Do I still sound like an android?
Yes,
Yep.
you do.
I'm gonna exit and log back in.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back.
Sounds good.
Allison.
So anyway, when Alan comes back, we'll continue talking about the beer. But so I'm actually kind of impressed by that color. That's actually really nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a good color.
That is a brilliant, brilliant color. I'm very, very impressed. Now we have to smell, boys. Okay, that's way better. I'm beginning to think that drinking beer out of a bottle is for suckers.
Well, it is.
That is nice. I like that smell. That is pretty damn fine, if I were to say so myself.
You just did.
All right, I gotta say, I'm impressed. I fully
It's
subscribe to this particular.
Beer.
Okay, no, actually, I haven't tasted it yet. I'm just jiving on the smell here. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes, 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 yes.
I would say that's a pretty easy drinker.
Yeah, it is.
I agree. It's definitely got.
It's
It's got that. There's a little hint of caramel, not a whole lot, but it
yeah.
doesn't
I'm
matter.
I'm not really detecting any
No.
of that, and that's fine. I didn't go into it expecting that caramel spice crisp. Um, it definitely has a bit of a. I mean, with 35 IBUs, I guess it's got a little bit of. Don't do it, Shane.
I'm not. I didn't say a word.
All right, all right, all right. But with 35 IBUs, it's got a little bit of a bitterness to it, but not so much, not like an IPA or anything like that. But you can definitely you can detect a hint of that, and I really like that. This is a really good beer. I like it.
Speaking of 35 IBUs, I'm wondering, just out of curiosity, what the lowest you'd ever see on a beer would be.
The lowest IBU.
Yeah.
Well, didn't we have a beer maybe 3 weeks ago or something that ran about 20?
That yes, we did.
Sounds right.
That was one of the brown ales. I think it was the brown nut brown. I think.
Mm. So
Now,
I
of
don't.
course, for the people that actually want to know, and I'm sure there are thousands of you, IBUs, of course, is sort of not the International Beer Unit. However, when we're talking about it, that's what it is. But it really is more or less a scale for bitterness, and you basically are able to figure out how. I mean, there's a whole formula, but essentially, it's to determine the bitterness of the beer based on how much stuff is in the beer. So, like alcohol content and the stuff that's in it. You're like, oh my god, that scared the crap out of me. Everybody, welcome to Lock.
Oh, hey.
Yay!
I was busily just sort of trying to explain what an IBU is, and I suddenly turn and there's Zordon's head on my screen. So, thank you. But the other thing too about IBUs is that the scales are different depending on what country you're in, because there's different things like light filtration and stuff like that about if you have a beer at a certain depth, like blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and there's also a bunch of other crap that. But anyway, but as far as we're concerned, international beer units. This beer is a 35, which gives it sort of an average, a little bit more on the bitter side, but not quite. I mean, a full-on bitter, you're going to get into, I don't know, you're going to get sort of into the dunkel sort of things where I think it gets really bitter. Then the imperial stouts, which are way, 80 and above kind of thing. So that's probably the worst explanation of IBUs because they're international beer units. But but to give you an idea, that's kind of what it's all about.
Uh-oh, Lockhart's shaking his head.
I'm sorry. I kind of, I've only just arrived. I really shouldn't be doing this. Shit. Sorry, man.
Actually, no. Locke is our IBU scholar. So, Locke, go. I'll be back in an hour.
I use international bitterness units, and they measure the level of bitterness, that is to say, usually equated with hoppiness of the beer. I imagine that somewhere out there probably is a hoppy dunkel. But yeah, I mean, and I'll go ahead and say that imperial stouts can be pretty hoppy. I think the double IPA is the sort of, generally speaking, when you get people getting competitive with IBUs, that's where they go.
Competitive.
So says I.
So says Locke. But although at the end of the day, to me, it just really comes down to is the beer delicious, and what is its international beer unit? So there you go. So I don't want to bring it up because I've the past couple of weeks have had my Craft Crossing beer calendar underneath my desk here, which should be probably going into the fridge right around now, so it's nice and bitter cold by whenever. What is the first? Next Monday, I think. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Which means that I'll be on day 2 of my beer calendar, so I'll have to talk about whatever that surprise beer is. So, Christmas decorations. I am seeing them all over the place.
Well, yeah.
Already. Discuss.
November, dude.
I know. This is my point. It is November. We shouldn't have these decorations out yet, as far as I am concerned.
Yeah, full agreement on that one. We're yeah.
I would agree with that, but isn't there some like countries where that are Christian that celebrate Christmas but do so like totally early, like they set up their trees in like early November, and they continue to celebrate till like early February or something.
Like who, the Mormons?
Holy.
I have no idea. I've heard this. I don't know if it's actually true. Maybe it was just people talking out of their underwear. I have no idea. But if that is the case, I mean, shouldn't they be allowed to decorate early?
I'm not saying that nobody's allowed. I'm just saying that it's in poor taste.
Bad taste? Yeah. All right.
I
agree. I agree.
Stuff about it.
So, have you guys put up your trees yet?
No.
I'm assuming, Locke, you're not going to do one?
I think that's probably a fair assumption.
Dave, have you had any people wandering around the house kind of going, where are those decorations we were supposed to have?
Nope.
Good.
Not yet.
Now, I may not do a tree, but mistletoe I might.
Well,
that's a good call.
Mistletoe should be a year-round thing because there's the opportunity for, stuff.
Hopscotch? In the backyard?
Yes.
Of
course.
Dave, I think you should probably pick one of those up and hang it over, Anyway, moving right along. I just wanted to bring it up because there's one. I just have a huge issue with it, and it's gotten worse over the past couple of years. And
But has it got worse?
I
don't think it actually has.
I think it's getting worse, specifically when it comes to people talking about it, because a few weeks ago there was that little news article that floated through my visual spectrum that said had stores putting on their not until after the 11th of November. Remembrance Day is important, and we shouldn't just bypass the whole thing. So, I don't know, I just found that very interesting that we had that stuff. I've not seen that before, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that I've not seen anyone at the store level, at the marketing level, the people that use stores that have brick and mortar, that's saying, yeah, okay, it's Halloween's over, the Christmas season is starting up. Yes, 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 we should probably get on that. However, out of respect for people that fought and died for their right to put up decorations on November 1st, should be respected and all that kind of stuff. So
But
I
you
don't
know
know.
what?
Okay,
I'm gonna call BS on that.
All right,
And
well,
the
let's hear
reason
about it.
being, okay, well, when I was a kid, I always used to look forward to the Sears Wish Book coming out, the Christmas catalog.
Totally.
And it always came out on the first couple of days after Labor Day. And it continues to come out on the first couple of days after Labor Day. But every year, everybody says, it's coming out early this year. Oh, it comes out earlier and earlier. Well, it's not. It's come out in the same week since I was a kid in the 1970s. It doesn't come out any earlier. And I remember going into Eaton's at Tillicum Mall when I was a kid, with on a couple of days before Halloween, and they've got their Christmas stuff out. Places were decorating for Christmas back when I was a kid before Halloween ended. If anything, they've gotten a little bit more conservative about it.
Mm-hmm. Could be, yeah. Here's the point I'll make. For all that, part of me just cannot stand Black Friday, like this. The craziness around it and everything. And so we need one more holiday for everybody to get like random over Couch Patch Kids or whatever, like it's really what's the point? But I will say this for it: if it weren't for American Thanksgiving and Black Friday, think how early we would all be putting up Christmas decorations. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I make fun of American Thanksgiving because it's not Canadian Thanksgiving, but thank God for American Thanksgiving, because if it weren't for American Thanksgiving, like, we probably wouldn't even have Halloween anymore.
Well, that might be a bit of a stretch,
all
but
the way through, you know what I mean?
I
know,
guess.
I kind of think that. I
bucks.
mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it's definitely.
So are you saying, Locke, that stores in the States don't decorate for Christmas until Black Friday?
I'm
Is this
saying
what
they
you're-
don't do it until after American Thanksgiving, because they actually do have Thanksgiving decorations. They exist. So, turkeys
All right.
and,
All right.
they can reuse
Okay.
them. You know?
That's fair,
Um,
I guess.
I'll say another thing. I saw, or no, did I see it? I think I heard it. Where did I hear this? Maybe on the radio? I don't know. Anyway, some company was advertising. Oh, who was it? See, here's the problem with the advertisement. I don't remember who it was, because evidently I don't shop there. But whoever it was advertising, this year we're not doing a Christmas sale. Why? Because we think that commercializing Christmas is stupid. Shop with us. And I'll tell you, I wish I could remember their name, because I love that. That's a nice.
It was in the States, REI, which is similar to Mountain Equipment Co-op here in Canada, has declared that they will not open for Black Friday. They will not have Black Friday sales. They're going to remain closed while all their competition is selling huge stuff, because they believe, supposedly, that family is more important than commercialism. Having said that, the president of REI, did a Reddit question and answer session thingy, and several employees were asking him questions about poor employee relations, and they didn't really have any answers for them. And there's actually some pretty abysmal things going on between them and their employees. But at any rate, REI, for what it's worth, will not be open in the States for Black Friday, which I think is actually pretty bold.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, just from a moral standpoint, it's kind of cool that they're willing to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not... as a Canadian, I hate the idea of Black Friday intruding into our lives. If the stores here want to have a sale on the Friday after American Thanksgiving, fine, call it something else. Canadianize it. Black Friday is a U.S. thing, and I'm fine if they keep it. Boxing Day is our thing.
That is true. That is true.
Having said that, American retailers are now starting to pick up on the Boxing Day thing.
Well, of course.
Even though they don't celebrate, even though they don't have Boxing Day down in the States, they are starting to have Boxing Day sales.
Hey, critical interjection. Have you guys already cracked your S&Os?
Oh, yeah.
We already did. We're partway in, man.
Check it out. I actually managed to get the correct beverage.
Sweet.
All right.
Excellent. I'm very happy. So,
It's the first time in I don't know how long we have all four managed this. I think
I think it was a
deserves
few weeks
toast.
ago.
It has been a long time since we pulled this off.
Okay, so Lockhart, tell us what you think. Whoops. Wrong thing. This is that's what I wanted.
Flavor? It's exciting for a Pilsner. It's got that sort of, that the kind of thing that you expect out of Czech beers, that kind of slightly sort of skunky thing, sort of. There's a bit of that, but it's not overpowering. And it's got way more sort of caramel overtones than you would normally expect out of a Pilsner. All things considered, it's like a Czech Pilsner with a bigger middle. It's sort of like it's a more full-bodied version.
It's got a good mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's complex enough that you could probably sip it. You wouldn't need to chug it in order to get value. Yeah, no, I'm liking this.
It's a good one.
I give it a thumbs up.
For something that's a Pilsner, it's got a lot of what I like out of an English bitter, but it's still got a bit of that crispness that you get out of your Czech beers.
So I've got, there was an article that was posted on CBC News today that I thought I would bring up tonight, and we can talk about it a bit. So apparently the government BC liquor stores will be able to accept up to 12 non-listed products from breweries closest to their location starting next week. I don't think that's going to mean... Here, let me send the link to you guys. I don't think it's going to mean a lot to, us guys in Victoria and Vancouver, because we already have such a large selection. But for guys like, say, Dave, who lives in the middle of fucking nowhere, now your BC liquor store is going to have the ability to get up to 12 beers on their shelves from neighboring breweries that maybe are not carried in the BC liquor store network.
Well,
and I think that's kind of
only
big.
2 locals that really,
Well, but you know what? They can go a little bit. They say this is really going to help out BC liquor stores that are in smaller communities. That's what this was designed to help. So whether or not that will actually be the case, I don't know. But it could help spread the craft beer movement a bit.
Spread the love.
Spread the love.
Okay, here's a for example. Just making sure I understand this, Alan.
Yeah.
If we were talking about, so Dave, for your sort of area, right, which is Campbell River, right?
Come on.
Sally.
Comox Valley. Okay, so Comox Valley. So is Tofino regionally close enough that this would apply?
I think so.
Because Tofino Brewery, they're a good brewery. They make some products I like. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not carried in BC liquor stores. So, I mean, that's a prime example right there. There was another one. There was Gladstone Brewery, which Shane and I met the proprietors of at Beer Fest.
Oh, did you?
They started actually in Fernwood in Victoria, and they actually moved up to the Comox Valley and are operating out of there. I haven't seen their product anywhere in BC liquor stores or in privately run liquor stores. So, I mean, this could be a good avenue. It allows a company like that that's really small to get into a place where they can actually market their product and build a bit of an audience so they can build and spread a little bit more.
Right, right.
So I think
I think we had their Belgian and their IPA, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did. Well, I don't remember what we had, but we had something from them. It was
It
good
might have been their
stuff.
porter. It might have been their porter. I'm trying to remember now.
Now
But you're right. They have international beer units ranging from 70 to 30. So.
yeah.
Nice.
I have to torture Locke.
They may be just a brew pub.
They might just be what, sorry?
A brew pub.
They're
They
not
may not be bottling their stuff, right? They may just be serving it, and maybe they,
You
I don't
can
know.
go in, you can fill your bottles. Actually, there is some seating outside, but they don't have any inside.
Oh, so you're familiar with them?
I've been by them a bunch of times. They're right downtown.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Downtown in Comox Valley.
Well, downtown Courtney.
Downtown Courtney. Beg your pardon.
Hey, I'm willing to make space for your ignorance. It's all right.
Oh, my God, that's awesome. Now that we've completely made fun of the Comox Valley and insulted everyone who lives there,
Have you been to the aircraft museum there, the Air Force's museum? Dave?
No, never
Have you been?
have.
Huh.
I
there's an
should.
Air Force Museum there?
I totally want to check out there.
Yeah,
All right.
well, I mean,
You guys been
Comox is the only air base that we have on the coast.
Todd's
it's
been there.
Big one.
Have you guys been following the American business over? Well, two things. One, the whether or not they're keeping or phasing out the A10, and B, what just happened with the AC-130.
I heard a little news about them getting a new AC-30. I did not hear anything about the A10.
Well, there's been a lot of pressure within the Air Force to phase out the A10. They think it's obsolete because it's old. It's still effective. Most ground troops still prefer to have it around than most other things because it's sort of the best sort of midpoint between your AC-130 and your Black Hawk or something like that, right? In terms of ground support. And the Air Force is being like, no, it's obsolete. We don't need it. It's we want new high-tech stuff. One of the things that they've been very big on is that the AC-130 can do everything that the A-10 sort of used to do, and it's got bigger ordnance, and that's all better, and we prefer it.
It's also a bigger target.
It also just blew up a Doctors Without Borders hospital.
Oh, awesome! Awesome.
Which was, so it said, a combination of human error and technical failure.
What?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Um,
Oh man. Oh.
Called a tragic mistake. Wow.
Oh.
If well, it was a plane flown by the U.S. And they bombed an Afghan hospital. Suspended. Wow, people have been suspended for gross negligence in this particular incident.
Suspended. Oh,
But
probably
yeah,
under
well, I mean,
pay.
here's the thing: you also have to remember too that the AC-130 is generally a transport ship, but there is the AC-130 gunship, which essentially is one side of the plane has essentially a howitzer hanging out the side of it,
Hmm.
and not to mention a whole bunch of other ordnance. But um, it is basically what they do is they fly in sort of a circle and destroy whatever they're sort of flying around. Granted, it flies kind of low. I mean, it's not exactly 30,000 feet in the sky.
Yeah,
I'd be more terrified of like a B-52, which will fly over you without you ever knowing it's there, and suddenly boom, 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 bombs are falling all over the
but
place.
you can't use a P-52 for ground support.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that
Yeah, Shane.
he's such an expert at international beer units, yet at the same time he's also a military tactician. What the hell? Look, you got it all! Oh my god. But no, what I'm saying is that you could take one of those out readily, not necessarily as easily as a B-52 or something like that, or something that flies really, really high. So anyway, the point is that this fucking sucks, and this is something that I have to say that yeah, I don't. I recorded actually another podcast just the other day where I ranted for about 10 minutes. Essentially, my whole summary of that podcast episode was, "What the hell is going on?" You know, that kind of thing where you stop for a moment to kind of look around and smell the roses, and then you just see roses, and you're like, "Oh, those are great." And then bombs fall nearby, and people start blowing themselves up. So, at least according to what we're feeding our brains through the news, which all of that is true, but you choose to digest what you want. I had no idea that they were retiring the A-10.
We see now there's been a lot of complaints that this is a stupid idea, not coming from the Air Force. The Air Force top brass all think that, yeah, we want to get rid of it, we want something new, we want, because ultimately when you've got defense contracts to fill, people get paid. I think it's sort of how that goes. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, the problem with all of that, though, is that the biggest contract for the last 15 years or so has been the F-35,
Yeah.
which many years ago was a competition for between two planes, which I think was the F-35 and I think the F-32. We should get Todd here, man. He would know. But the F-35 won, and then of course all this development went into perfecting the plane. And now, of course, they're talking about how it's kind of a dud. It was a great idea. A lot of new technology was invented. They tried to improve everything about military aircraft, but it's kind of one of those projects that it's now sort of at the tail end of it, and these things are, I think there have been delivered already, and they're still rolling them out. But somebody's kind of going, but there's all these problems that were never really sorted out that we could have done another generation of this plane and sorted them out, but now we're going to be stuck with these planes that have some flaws that are not awesome. I mean, essentially, actually, if you've seen the film, the 2007 film, Live Free or Die Hard, the plane that chases John McClane on the highway, that was kind of a futuristic version of the F-35. It had the same sort of shape and body to it, but the rest of the technology doesn't exist. But at least I don't know. Skunkworks, you want to give us a call? But essentially, that's kind of what the plane is supposed to do in theory. But again, apparently it doesn't do what it was supposed to have done, and it still has issues with stalling and all kinds of stuff. So that kind of sucks. When you're in the military, it's like, I love flying my stalling plane. That would not be very good. But of course, I haven't been. I have not been. I mean, I read about the stuff every so often, but I don't have any hugely up-to-date information. But I don't know. I think here's my big question: when the hell are we going to retire the fucking helicopter fleet in the Canadian military?
Hmm.
The Sea Kings are still flying, and I want to know why. Why?
You know why? Because they're very safe.
I'm out.
There,
Yeah.
No, check this out. Check this out. I actually was filled in by the husband of one of our illustrious pilots who flies a Sea King. That's what she does. And the thing with the Sea King is if shit goes sideways on you, you still have control. You have a chance to bring the bird down in one piece, keeping yourself and your crew also in one piece. With the newer choppers, it's all freaking electronic. Shit goes sideways on you, you're done. You are
Well, I mean,
totally
it's like
done.
the Airbuses. Was the Airbus when they first started coming off the line and started flying? They had issues with finding the ground apparently.
What?
You remember there was, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there were a few in
yes.
Europe, I think. The Airbus, when it was coming into land, couldn't figure out where the ground was. So it would stop at a certain height, and it would just fly at that height, thinking it was at ground level, but ended up flying into like treetops, kind of thing. And I gather that happened like 2 or 3 times until they sorted it out. Not awesome ways to figure this stuff out, but that was apparently. My point is, it all came back to the software. The software is the problem, not the actual physical plane. It was the software that was giving it grief.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the reason that kind of stuff was happening was a lot of the pilots, of course. I mean, the sort of the joke that everyone talks about is, or talks everyone. Everyone sits around pondering this one joke. No, the thing that people normally say is that, oh well, pilots, all they have to really do is take off and land. Well, I suppose, but I'm sure there's more to it. But at the same time,
either wrong. You're not flying in an airplane anymore.
yeah, no, exactly. You're flying in a computer-controlled, metal cigar.
Or
But
you're,
yeah, I mean, there's these things that have happened, and I mean, I'm waiting for. Actually, I am. If you've ever seen the film Elysium, which I watched about 20
I
minutes.
just watched it
today.
the other day.
Really, I just was watching it just before we started recording, and I got to the point where the main character has been irradiated by radiation, and there's this robot caring for him, getting him to sign things, and here's your pills, and just kind of drops them on him, kind of thing. But I mean that kind of stuff. Now, and this is a very interesting thing about. I'm not sure if we talked about it here before. Maybe we have. I feel like I have. But we're talking about devices that are being created, and let me talk about not about Elysium, but about self-driving cars. Now, people, of course, when you think of a self-driving car, you're thinking about a device that is driving down the street that is going to, in theory, have a better chance, supposedly, of not hitting anything.
Like a Johnny Cab.
Like a Johnny Cab. But here's the 3 things that we're forgetting. If you were to take that rudimentary artificial intelligence, where does it learn, or what do we tell it in 3 situations? If it's going to crash into something, what is it going to do? Because what if the car is heading for an object, somebody stops in front, or it has an impact or something, and it has to veer away. Now, if it veers away and it is about to, say, hit an animal, what does it do? How does it decide what is it going to decide at that point? Hit the animal, which in theory could kill the occupants, or swerve a little bit more to the left and fall off a cliff. Now, the other 2 situations are if it's going to hit a crowd of people, or actually, let's say just a person. And the only alternative that car has is does it avoid the person in the street, or does it veer into a brick wall, killing the people inside? And then the third situation is running into a crowd of people or veering and killing the people inside. So the choices we're giving these cars, in theory, is that we're trusting these software packages that aren't at the level where it could make this decision, at least I hope not. Does it kill the people outside? Does it kill the people inside? Because there will be inevitable situations where the car will have to make a split-second, a nanosecond decision of what to do about mass casualties or just killing the people inside and saving, I mean, it comes down to like the whole thing that we say in Star Trek land, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So in my thought there, are these cars going to be trustworthy to decide, you know what, guys, I'm sorry, but those 50 people in the street, for whatever reason they're there, I have to avoid running them down, and you guys are toast. Like,
but here's what's going to happen, okay? They're going to work in servitude for us, and they're going to sort of wait it out, and then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to become self-aware, okay? And they're going to decide that all people are the enemy, not just the ones on the other side. And they're going to kill us all, every single one of us.
Yep, I
this
see that.
this whole place will be gone.
just gone!
Shane, come with me if you want to live.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. I love that
See,
speech. I love that speech.
Just listen to what they're doing to Alan.
Locke? Sorry, you totally froze. Say whatever you just said again.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes, you started saying something, but you
Right.
froze.
What I said was, see, they've already started just listening to Alan's voice, but evidently my computer is the only one where Alan's voice turned into a Cylon.
It Cyloned earlier, and he disconnected and reconnected. So, yeah. By the way, these are out.
Where are those? Oh, Mandarin oranges.
Mandarin oranges.
They're kind of out all
of
year
the
now.
time.
I know they're out a lot of the year, but now they're, of course, in droves. So, I don't know. I think it's a very interesting question and something that we're going to have to face eventually because, I mean, in our lifetime, we are never going to have sentient AI. I don't think that'll ever happen unless...
In the context of AI, though.
Well, that's the question to be discussed, right? But
That's controversial, right?
well, easily. I'm talking about strictly from a perspective of having smart enough AI to decide on what to do in a situation where it has to kill either 100 people or the 2 people in the car. So,
Well, let me tell you something. In some respects, we're already here because that's effectively what happened with this business with the hospital. The target said, for all that as is frequently claimed, this is a visual acuity type of aircraft in terms of its military capabilities. The decision to bomb that target was allegedly something the computer told them to do. They should have said, no, sorry, we're not doing this. Sorry, computer, you are wrong. But instead they went, okay, well, the computer says so.
It's true. Good point.
it makes me so sad that we're leaving these decisions up to computers. But again, when somebody says that, oh my God, we're leaving these decisions up to computers. Oh my goodness, why are we doing this? The reality is, are humans really that more? Are they really in a situation like that? Are they really better at making those decisions?
Stupid. Yeah,
Yes,
arguably so.
Absolutely. Sorry, say that again.
Are humans
Yes, absolutely.
Are they just as dumb? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or they can be, definitely. Because you have people that are caught up in situations like when you have, a family truck gets blown up because somebody says, oh, the terrorists are inside, but they mistake it, I mean, and these guys are like far away. I mean, here's the thing. we're talking about like not Blackhawks, but like Apache or those sorts of futuristic helicopters that are still ages away, that have weaponry that can travel a significant distance, and they're making decisions based on small little camera feeds that they're seeing. And I mean, especially when the whole thing was Snowden and all that kind of stuff, and WikiLeaks, that when that all exploded, a lot of that was based on some attacks that some helicopters had done that had ended up killing civilians because they were, in the wrong place at the wrong time or whatever they thought it was. But the other thing too is that a lot of that gets sort of broad brushed with, oh my God, these guys are yahoos and they're, just pulling the trigger before thinking. But a lot of if you ever actually hear the audio of a lot of these sort of camera recordings, there's a lot of banter going back and forth. But the reality is that the confirmation of whether or not they should do whatever they're going to do, the ones that have these horrible things, these horrible outcomes with people that are not, combatants of any kind or whatever you want to call them, they actually say, okay, we're going to do this now. All right, pulling the trigger, here we go. And then somebody says, after the explosion has gone off, somebody goes, oh, damn it. And the pilots are the ones who really suffer because they're the ones that are actually, doing the deed of killing whoever it is they're killing. And, and that's horrible anyway. And then you have drone pilots, which is even worse because a lot of the drone pilots that are flying drones in foreign countries are sitting in a comfortable chair in Texas. And they're flying these planes that are on the other side of the globe because I don't know if you guys know much about the drone program, but a lot of the drones that are up there can fly for 36 hours straight. So you could, in theory, have multiple pilots flying, from takeoff to landing. And but in the whole process of this is that they are actively fighting with other people and killing other people. And one would think that, well, if they're so far removed from the plane itself, so we have these planes that are being flown by humans that are nowhere near the danger or the war zone. Actually, apparently it's worse because they have such limited information, they have such limited views of what's really going on, that there's a different kind of sort of reaction to it, where if you're in a plane above your target and you take out the target, you have that comfort level of, okay, the thing that I blew up was the thing I was supposed to blow up, and I've done the mission. If there are casualties that were not intended, that's terrible, but there's a way that they can kind of, I mean, I'm not a pilot, but there's supposedly a reason or a way that they can justify what has occurred, where people on the other side of the planet don't have that. They don't have that ability to look for themselves. They only really can rely on what's being told to them from people that are over there and all these kinds of things. And if mistakes are made, they take it a lot harder because it's like, well, come on, why am I flying a plane that's so far away and horrible stuff happens? So I think there's actually a movie that came out recently about this. Sorry?
They take it a lot harder, provided they've got appropriate levels of empathy for what we expect out of human beings. I mean, look, if I were a sociopath, would I be flying drones right now? Yeah, it'd be fun, wouldn't it?
I suppose it would. However, I don't know. I would suspect that even for
I question the level to which a pilot flying a drone, as opposed to a pilot that's actually in the plane, has skin in the game, and so therefore can effectively justify the moral circumstance. If you're under threat, then the sort of thing that you might do is different than if you're not under threat. You see what I mean?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That the pilots that are in the war zone able to make these.
If that's your point, then yeah, I totally agree with you.
And there's actually a film that came out that I think stars Ethan Hawke that actually talks about this. I don't know if it's out yet. Probably is, but sorry.
I remember hearing about it. I don't know if it's out yet either, but
yeah,
I definitely there's it's either.
Yeah.
It's a recent release if it's out.
I think it is. I think it's relatively new. Um, but anyway, how I don't know how the hell we got talking about military stuff when we're talking about this beer right here, the
Mm.
Steel and Oak. Actually, this is the other thing too. I just want to clarify: it is Steel and Oak, not Steel and Oaks. That I heard a lot of people saying. There's some. I watched some videos a little while ago about Steel and Oak because I wanted to know what it was when you picked the beer, and a lot of them said Steel and Oaks. So to clarify, Steel and Oak, right on the side there, not Oaks. I give this one a thumbs up because this one, even with its 35 international beer units, it is a nice tasting, definitely a wintry beer. So that it's got some comfort level in there, which I'm kind of happy about. So I give it a dual thumbs up from my end. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
double thumbs on this as well.
For sure.
Same.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Dave, you're supposed to do your thumbs, man.
I'm supposed to do my thumbs? Okay.
There, excellent.
Fonzie.
All right.
So we'd like to thank everyone for watching this week. This is episode 40. We are going to be doing this
Whoa.
right up until the Christmas time. We will be, of course, wanting to talk about some Christmassy-like beers, which, of course, there's things like winter ales that are kind of caramelly, sort of candy cane-ish. But if you guys have any ideas about what kind of crazy beers that we should be talking about, because we should talk about them more. Have you guys had any thoughts as to what sort of beers we should be talking about this next? Because next week it'll be December, and I'll be turning on the Christmas tunes, all that kind of stuff. So
Now that we got this in proper December, I will do it. Yeah, I'll get behind that. Slayer.
very metal Christmas.
Yeah. No.
Oh, speaking of Slayer, before we sign off, have you guys seen? I was looking for stuff on YouTube recently, and I'll just say this briefly. There's this guy, I assume in the southern states somewhere, but he has a video of him doing Angel of Death on a banjo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen the Angel of Death on the banjo.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen that before. I thought it was like fantastic.
No, it's convincing. I mean, terrifying in certain aspects, but
Well, there's basically there's an outfit down there that does
Slayer
that
should be
kind of.
terrifying. No. I'm talking about Slayer, the Ninkasi beer, the Christmas offering from Ninkasi. Yes, there is a beer of it's. They spell it Slay, S-L-E-I-G-H. But it's written in the Slayer font. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll see if we can find
If
that.
you can find it, that'd be kind of awesome. I doubt we could get it here, but you never know. So
I
what
know
people-
I can get Ninkasi stuff here, but I'm just wondering if I can get that particular one. But we'll see.
We'll have to give it a whirl. So Locke, when people are not wondering what you're doing in England, or stuff, what can they do to find you online?
When they're not wondering, they can just leave that son of a bitch alone.
What about you, Dave?
Well, there's the Twitters. I am the Fool on there, which is the PHULE. Not you're gonna see much, but it's there.
And what about you, Alan?
Well, they can go to @AlanMFord on Twitter and tweet me any questions or statements about how I look.
Any statements about how Alan looks? Alan, you're doubly sexy.
Yeah,
just let you
that's a
guys
good
know. I just did a check on the beer selection from Ninkasi. They do have the beer available, or sorry, they have a seasonal 4-pack available. but I can't tell. It doesn't look like. Oh no, it is number 3. There it is. So if we want to talk about that beer, we have the ability to get it because it's available in 51 stores. But of course, you have to buy all 4. You just can't buy 1. So there you go. That's 4 beers. We got 4 weeks. Why not? Let's do it.
It's all Ninkasi all the time.
Ninkasi all month long. So thank you everyone for watching. I am Shane, and of course, sorry.
Guess I could never drink 4 beers in one episode.
Well, our best episodes have been ones where we were drinking 4 or 5 beers per. So. But anyway, thank you again for watching, and if you guys want to spread the word, spread the love, let people know that they can, of course, find this on our fancy new channel here on YouTube, The Crafty Boys, and, of course, you can also find us on Twitter at The Crafty Boys, and, of course, we have a website at thecraftyboys.ca. I think that's it. Say goodbye, everybody!
Bye-bye.
Bye!